Okay, this is like part 3 of Ballad, Kino, Morone. Mary stirred her coffee and spooned in sugar and cream. Frank entered and hung his coat on the hook. Frank looked at Mary. She was still facing the wall. I could be a bad guy. Bad guys don't hang their coats. Alabaster is hiding something. No doubt there. What did you find out? That beyond his new fish duties, Kyler's doing something more for Alabaster. He was there? Yeah. I bumped into him as I was going to see Alabaster. His nameplate fell off. Shit! Mary retracted her hand. You okay? Yeah, just hot coffee. Mary cleaned the counter. I tried searching for Kyler. Find anything? Yeah. I attributed him to a heavy string of murders. I should have looked him up when we met. You couldn't have known. Love is a bitch. It wasn't love, Frank. Lust, granted, but not love. It's not like what I... Like what I what? Frank wrapped his arms around her waist. Her hands caressed his forearms and fingers. Her head nestled back against his chest. It's not like what I feel for you. We've been down this road. It didn't work that time. I know. Mary curled around and breathed against Frank. That doesn't change how I feel. Nor does it me. Frank smiled. I like your smile. I like yours. They kissed. Pounding came from the office door. Hard bangs. Frank released Mary and opened the door. Mary sat at her desk. Two men stood with hands held out in front in the hallway. Stood out in the hallway. Mr. Smith wants to talk to you, stated the chubby one. Tonight, 9 o'clock, Jerry's restaurant, said the other. I'll be there, Frank conceded. Mr. Smith will be pleased, said Chubby. Don't be late, said not Chubby. They turned simultaneously and exited down the inner staircase. Frank closed the door. I guess I have a date. Already? That was fast. Let me guess, you sweat the secretary off her feet. Greta? She's not my type. Alabaster, on the other hand. Just your kind of guy? Yep. Pristine and filthy. Frank lit a cigarette in the alley. Alabaster should be showing up soon. Snow fell more now in sheets than individuals. Red car stopping at the stoplight. Not him. Too cheap. Green truck. Navy boys. Beers all in their hands. Gordon and Sherman are around the corner. They won't stop them. The Navy will leave soon. No need to arrest until a fight. They have government assurance. Frank shifted his coat. Fuck, it's cold. Frank looked up at the sky and saw the moon dressed in smoky thick linen. It made the night take a misty illumination. And a new limo pulling in. Damn, not him. But it is the great Don Marconi. The night is going to get a lot edgier. I don't see Ramon. Where is that skinny fucker? A noise dinged behind him. Frank blacked out. Kino was reapplying her makeup. Frank sat on the silk bed sheets. Frank lit a cigarette. She was colored in red light from the lace on the lamp. Skin bathed in soft night air. She smacked her lips, spreading red from top to bottom. What the hell? You're corrupting me, Kino. Sorry, my stereo kind of fucked up just then. You're corrupting me, Kino. Frank stood and walked to her. I'm sorry. Don't be. The duality of the universe dictates that if one thing exists, there exists its total opposite. So, if I'm a cop and you're a criminal, then within me is a criminal. And if that must be, then I'm happy you're the corrupter. Getting metaphysical, are we? Sure, why not? Frank draped his arms over her shoulders. You're a lucky man, Frank. I am. Yeah, most of my clients wouldn't understand that speech of yours, and you're lucky that I do. Come with me. Frank pulled a chair from under the vanity. Frank beckoned her hand. She obliged and stood. They walked out onto her balcony. The moon. It gives everything a glow, and yet it possesses no illumination of its own. I know, it's a giant rock orbiting a larger rock orbiting a contained nuclear explosion. Yeah, it's what keeps me knowing I'm on a planet. A half trapped, a half free. It's what we do with the people around us that is the only true test of life, and what you do and what I do are opposites. The sun, the moon. But I'm willing to accept that the sun, given the chance, would become the moon. Just for a change. Frank looked down at a cigarette, half ash. Frank flicked it off and took a drag from the stub. Frank lolled his head. It hurt. His vision was blurry, mouth gagged and rust-tasting. Tied to a chair of steel and plastic, Frank looked around. 2 figures in the left corner. Bright light near them. Sounds of cigarette burning. Hard exhales. He's coming too. How shall we do? The boss says detain. My boss says otherwise. Frank moaned and strained to see. His head hurt worse than he thought, and the ropes were tight. Frank twisted his hands in pain. You do whatever. My job is done. Have fun, Larry. Oh, we'll show him a good time. His voice was different, deeper, more evil. The door closed. Light laughter came from the remaining man. So you're that detective, Frank Jordan, right? Frank nodded slightly. Good. Why you are here, you may ask? I'll tell. Larry was near and punched Frank in the head. Because! That's why. Frank glared at Larry. His vision was clearing. He wore a suit with thick stripes, white against black. The face was still a mystery. Larry hit him again. Larry laughed. This is fun, you know. I want to hear you rebut my abuse, your snark against pain. Larry loosened the gag. Who are you? I'm Larry. I thought you told the other guy we. He is not involved. Oh, no room for 2 people to beat up a tied-up man? Only one body. That's me. Larry hit Frank again and continued in a lighter, different voice. And then there's me. Kyler hit Frank in the gut. Schizo? Don't call us that. Kyler kicked Frank over. Call you what? A fucking schizo? Larry and Kyler raised and picked up Frank in the chair and tossed him against the room. Frank slammed against the tiled wall, shattering the porcelain. Oh, okay. No schizo jokes. Got it. Frank rolled in futility. Then his hand tapped a loose tile. Frank began sawing at the restraints. You don't understand our power. You can't understand because you are beneath me. You are all beneath us. What makes you so great? We have done worse than this and far much faster and further. Then why wait? Because I'm waiting for you to cut through your ropes. Frank didn't stop cutting. The first rope popped. I want a fair fight this time. That reminds me of an old story. Which one? That bullshit one with the famous last words? Frank freed his hands and began to cut through his leg ropes. Funny. Yeah, I get that a lot. Frank was now free and stood. Larry laughed in the dark corner. Drop the tile, Kyler said politely. Drop the syringe. Frank leaned against the wall. Let me think. No. Then it appears we are at an impasse. It appears so. Larry growled and rusted Frank. The syringe glinted as he held it like a dagger. Frank blocked it and shoved the sharp tile deep into Larry and sliced upward. Blood poured. Larry growled and hit Frank in the face. Frank did not let go of Larry's arm. They fell and Frank kicked into Larry's stomach, ripping his flesh more. Blood ran faster. Frank got on top of Larry and kneed him again and again. The light fell fast from Larry's eyes. The syringe shattered on the floor. Frank stood and looked in Larry's eyes in the face once more. Or kicked him in the face once more. That's for Nona. The rest was for Kino, he said, and stomped hard on his throat. That one is for them all. Frank stood outside and lit a cigarette as he related his story to Monahan. Blue and red swam in the snow, flakes no longer falling. The taste of a cigarette filling Frank's lungs. Morning crested the skyline. The wind was no longer biting. You're a magnet, Frank. I know, a shit magnet. That's what I meant. My head still hurts. I'm gonna go see the EMS. I've got it covered now. Thanks, Monahan. Ow. Frank tossed the cigarette stub into the snow. One sniff and it was gone. Frank's cell phone rang. Frank pulled it from his inner coat pocket. It was Mary. Hey. Frank, are you okay? I just got the call. I'm fine. Kyler's dead. How? Me. He was insane, a schizophrenic. He tried to kill me. What about Alabaster? I don't know. I never showed her. I was unconscious by the time he did. Did Kyler kill Kino? Yeah, him and another. Who? He got away. Frank knocked on the EMS van. What now, Frank? Mary sighed. I don't know. Want some breakfast? And that's the end of the Ballad of Kino Morone. And the parts where I was talking about Kino, where he's talking to Kino, it's a flashback. It's written in italics in the freaking book, which I'm working on trying to put out. If I got it, you know, might be a link or some shit. I don't fucking know yet. You know. Thanks for watching. You know.